that information that you and Matt just mentioned, on top of what Lauren reported, all the drama going on within that police department. I spoke to an expert who tells me all of this trouble will make it that much harder to find a permanent replacement.
Information, I am going to do my very best in the short time that I'm here to get you the tools and support that you need.
New Interim Police Chief Sue Rahr making it clear she has no interest in being the department's full-time replacement. History shows Seattle police chiefs don't stick around too long anyway. It's been more than a decade and a half since the top cop of the city lasted more than 4 years. And half of former Chief Adrian Diaz's tenure was as an interim leader who came into a very hostile environment.
The city was at a peak of a racial reckoning with protests and riots daily. There were calls to reimagine policing, a consent decree that had to be reset, a push to defund the police, violent crime on the rise.
Now, history repeats itself as whoever steps into this full-time role faces several pending lawsuits and a reported culture of misogyny. This on top of Seattle's national reputation.
You want to go somewhere where you're wanted, where you're accepted, where you're appreciated, where the mayor and council, as well as the community, has your back. You know, Washington State, and particularly Seattle, doesn't have that reputation.
Brian Higgins is a lecturer at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice and a retired police chief out of New Jersey. He tells me, with Seattle's track record, it might be hard to find a good replacement.
I've seen this trend now of the celebrity police chiefs, right? They work at a place for 18 to 24 months. They have a resume of 8 or 10 police departments they worked at. I don't know how much they're changing, how much they're influencing a police department.
But Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell says he hopes to find a new chief in about 6 months, and he's focusing that search outside of the department.
And I feel very confident that we will have a chief that can help us change the culture and create the police department that we all could be so very, very proud of.
I reached out to the Downtown Seattle Association to get their take on this massive change for the city's police department as we're heading into those busier summer months. They responded with a statement that essentially says they stand in support of the mayor's decision based on the safety needs of this city. Reporting live in Seattle, I'm AJ Janavel, Fox 13 News.
And as we mentioned, former King County Sheriff Sue Rahr will be taking the job in the interim. She served as sheriff from 2005 and 2012. She began her law enforcement career as a deputy with the King County Sheriff's Office in 1979 and worked her way up through the ranks. In 2005, she was elected to sheriff and served for another 7 years, retiring in 2012. By all accounts, Rahr was very well liked. She retired to work as the executive director of the Washington State Criminal Justice Training Commission. Rahr starts her job tomorrow and plans on getting right to work, she says.
To the men and women of the Seattle Police Department, you're going through some turbulence right now. I recognize that, and I want to do whatever I can to reassure you we're going to get through this. The first thing I'm going to do, first day in office tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I'm going to start by listening. I want to hear from the men and women of the Seattle Police Department what you're seeing, what your ideas are, what you need. I need to understand what you're all facing on the street. I also need you to be brutally honest and open with me so that I can understand. To the people of Seattle, I know there are communities that are really grieving with this change, and I understand that. I'm also going to start, Reverend Walden, by listening to people. I want to understand what we can do together to improve people's sense of safety and to gain your trust. I know that's going to be a tough road, but we're going to do it.
Rahr says one of her top goals is to build trust between police and community.